Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of General Geekery. Um, I'm Brian, and with me, as always, is JD. And since both of us are off today, we decided we'd get one last episode in for the year.
So it's technically our New Year's episode, even though New Year's is stupid. So, um, I uh, I don't, I don't really know where 2023 went.
Man, this one just flew by. I mean, it really did. I think a lot of
It,
it for me was like the new job and getting cleared and stuff like that. But yeah, it just flew by.
it's, it's, it's like like the whole year is just in the rearview mirror, and I don't know how it all got there. So,
Oh, totally. Uh, I was spending most of the morning writing a script for the my year-end custom review. So I'll be doing that probably later today or tomorrow.
that's cool.
Not as many customs made this year as I did last year, but I think I kind of made up for that with the box sets.
Yeah. Well, plus you were busier this year, so but
Yeah,
yeah, you expanded your horizons, made entire boxes. So.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So JD actually has a couple new classified figures to show us.
yeah, I when I went to Target, I just went to go get a couple of things. But as always, check the toy department first. My kids don't go shopping with me very often, but when I do, pretty sure it drives them nuts that I have to check the toy department first. But wasn't planning to get it, but
So you got the Python Patrol Copperhead.
yes. Um,
It's
I
okay.
I sent well because I sent Brian a text. I'm like, it was staring me in the face, and then he said easy pass. I'm like, oh no, I got it. So and then he's like, but why? And I'm like, well, it was like that gif of Nathan Fillion going, um, I mean, well, I like the original when I was a kid, so all
The
right, close enough.
nostalgia, it's hard to argue the nostalgia value on something like that. I mean, that's why I have a lot of the classified figures that I do is the nostalgia value. So
Um,
that's hard to argue, quite honestly.
yeah, I thought so. So, I mean, does it look cool? Yeah, but when I was a kid, some of it was Python Copperhead. Was now I didn't have the regular Copperhead.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
Yeah, when I did get it, it was a Malloway, but I did have the Python version, and even though the Deke cartoon seemed to illustrate him like he was like a trooper, um, and the but yeah, I always saw him as just he's just Copperhead in a different uniform, and so I don't I don't know if he'll be Copperhead in a different uniform or what, but it's it's here, so I should. It's one of those where I thought, if I ever see it, maybe, but I wasn't going to pre-order it. Um,
Yeah, and I'm on the fence, still on the fence about the regular Copperhead. I figure if it ever goes on discount, I'll probably pick it up.
um, the
I just
regular Copperhead was a definite pickup for me because it was one of those. Copperhead for me is one of those characters where I didn't really appreciate it when I was a kid. He was just
Hi.
sort of there aside of the Python Patrol version. That was more like filling in a gap for a figure I didn't have, but I didn't I didn't have any real appreciation for him. And as I got older, I'm like, you know what? His file card and everything, I like it. And the swamp guy personality, yeah, I like it. So
I
um
just got the just added the vintage O-ring one to my collection. I of course had it as a kid, but for some reason I have just skipped it up until this point to adding it to my collection. But Yeah, I just got the regular one, not the one with different colored gloves, but
There's a weird position he's in on the
yeah,
um
looks like he's in like stasis in some like cartoon or something.
yeah, it's odd. Not like he's being interrogated, but um well, I should also add that last time we did the show, I was like, I'm not getting any more figures before the end of the year. Well, and then Amazon shipped Mutt early.
Oh man.
So
Yeah.
so
Fantastic. You're gonna have to do a little bit better review of that for the show too. That looks fantastic. Nice.
Junkyard. Yeah. Um Mutt is one that I don't have any particular nostalgia for. Had him when I was a kid, but eh. Um, but I can't argue with this. This is a phenomenal update.
Yeah, it looks
And if this doesn't, if there's anybody who's not a Mutt fan, if this figure doesn't bring them around, then they're not going to come around because this is a, this is an amazing feat of what the classified team at Hasbro is doing. Um, they don't. I've seen I've seen phrases like firing on all cylinders used and um and continuously knocking out of the park, and I don't have an argument. The classified they are they're designing for some amazing toys. Um, right now, I'm moving all these like the armbands, the secondary. I'm moving them into place because they were down around his elbows. I appreciate that this stuff is removable, but that
but
doesn't do anything for making it stay in place.
yeah.
Um, all right, so he's got the Python logo
Oh,
right underneath where the strap for his holster goes.
what's kind of
So it's a little bit annoying. Um, yeah, the placement of it annoys me. But the other Copperhead, the holster strap goes over the Cobra sigil. So I guess when you got the secondary belts, I guess there's not a lot of winning. But I feel like the Python Patrol logo could have just gotten moved over to his arm and
yeah.
been but maybe in the new year, maybe I should endeavor to get a better camera for the but so hang on a second.
Yeah, at some point in time we should like invest in like decent gear.
And by decent he means well just anything's an improvement, literally anything.
Yeah, pretty much since we're both shooting this on our laptops. We both got like the JJ Abrams lens flare going on because this is not the normal time that we record this show.
No. So I mean you can see there's a drastic difference,
Yeah.
just about as much as the original. But it's one of those things where I like the Python version just as much now, but I can't decide if I want him to be the same character or normally I don't have a dilemma like that, but when you've got this figure that's just as cool as this figure, and I don't generally like to have figures and the same character in different color schemes. I mean, within the universe, it makes perfect sense.
Sure.
But within my collection, I don't really need duplicates of much of this stuff. So, but this, I can't really argue with this Python Patrol Copperhead. They did a good job with this, but I think that's more a testament of how good a job they did with the first Copperhead figure. So putting it in the in the vomit color scheme instead of the uh the minty swamp color scheme is really all they had to do. Because
Could be like his like a relative, like a brother, older brother, or something like that,
or his
or an alter ego, like the original Zartan file card talked about having schizophrenia, so maybe he has multiple personality disorder.
well, there was there's somebody that posts on Facebook pictures of his Python Patrol figures, and he seems to imply that his Python Patrol works for Serpentor.
Ah.
And I never considered that, but I kind of like the idea because in the comics, in the Devil's Due comics, they revived the concept that Hasbro created for the vintage line that they didn't end up going with, called the Coil, where Serpentor would have his own faction within Cobra, the same way Destro broke off with the Iron Grenadiers. And then the Devil's Due comic brought that back, where Serpentor did have his own, and then the GI Joe Collectors Club created figures based on the Coil. So whatever this other collector on Facebook does, yeah, he does these dioramas where they're all in contact with Serpentor as the Python Patrol is doing their rounds, and I'm like, huh, I kind of like that idea. So if it is Copperhead, well, he's got all the gambling debt, so maybe he is working for two different factions of Cobra. And you're not going to be able to tell on this potato quality camera, but the gear from the first Copperhead is just recolored.
Yeah,
But I like this metallic green instead of the silver that they did for this hand cannon.
it's gold
And
hammer.
I think, I wasn't really planning to buy this figure, but damn, I can't really argue with how good it is. I mean, even if we had waited to do our top 10, neither Copperhead or Mutt would have made my list for top 10 acquisitions. But Mutt does scream starting the year off right. Because I feel like this Mutt figure, if he's an indication of how good Classified can be or will continue to be, we're in good hands.
I have to
He
admit, I'm looking forward to a lot of the stuff that's coming out. The Mutt, the Metalhead, the original colored, and a lot of like the retro carded figures. I'm looking forward to the original colored Recondo, and then the original to see what they do with the eel and the snow serpent and uh the Techno Viper. I'm certainly looking forward to the Techno Viper.
Well, yeah. Um, Here, I'll take Mutt's gear off. That face sculpt
Yeah, that is nice.
is beautiful, and he's actually got a 5 o'clock shadow.
Really?
Yeah, with the paint apps, and they put a real light gray 5 o'clock shadow. And man, that looks really good. Um, they really just, they really just, Mutt is it's a wonder, and Junkyard is. I mean, he's superposable, but I'll tell you what, this does, because between Timber and Junkyard, it just lets me know how badly we need to see an order figure, and it really makes me uh look forward to what they're going to do with the warthog that comes with Naga hide.
Yeah,
um
about that because they
but
Naga hide. So
um he just, and the collar moves, it does come off.
oh, nice.
um I wish there'd been a little bit more paint detail is on the dog's armor, but that's all right.
That's
That's
easy.
what my paintbrush is for. So Yeah, so Copperhead and Python Patrol, or I mean, and Mutt are really just, yeah, they're really good. So, you getting anything?
Uh I got the like I said, I just got the vintage Copperhead. So
Oh yeah,
kind of
did you
funny.
have one when you were a kid, and this is just a replacement, or you didn't have one? Okay.
I
Oh,
had it.
that's right. You had the moccasin, right? Yeah.
I love that thing. That was a fun vehicle. I have the 25th anniversary one. I got that second it came out. Um,
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because the 25th, that was the first one that I owned. I had friends who had the moccasin when I was a kid, but I never had one. So,
and this came yesterday. I got the 50th anniversary Cobra Viper off.
um,
I love this color scheme. The gray and the maroon. I just and the gold visor. The 50th anniversary stuff never showed up here. So all of my stuff is I've had to get it secondhand. Um, I love that figure so much that I just caved like JD and just bought the classified Viper 3 pack because it's on sale on Amazon. So
how much is it on sale for?
it's like half off. It's
Nice.
like 47 something. I'm like, that's not bad for 3 figures. So
And really only slightly bad for three figures and when you only want one of them.
yeah.
Um, I I mean, kind of one of those where the Viper 3 pack is one of those situations where it's like I wanted to say, well, maybe we could split the pack, but when you take the officer and a Viper, but I don't like the classified Viper. I have one of them. I have the Python version because I bought it because it was there, and I don't have like the blue, and I don't like it. I don't like the sculpt. I don't like the details. It's it's like it's accurate enough to the vintage to work as an update, but it's not accurate enough to really say they knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
I don't know if they could do better, but I do know they could have done worse. But no matter what, I'm just like, I wish I'd liked the classified Viper more than I do. Which, like I said, I bought the Python version when it first came out, but I have not felt compelled to buy any of the others.
Yeah. And I've been on the fence for it because I do want the officer because I absolutely love that color scheme. But so yeah, I have the same absolutely the same like complaints. It looks like it's a nice figure. I don't it's not their best work. I don't think it's a spectacular update, but yeah.
And at the same time, I
But
don't want them to waste resources on going back to create a new classified Viper. There's too many other things they can and should make
yeah, I don't see
before. I mean, I don't think they will, but I'm just saying if they've considered it, I'd much rather them see make more varied troopers like the upcoming Iron Grenadier that we know is coming, but we haven't seen yet. Um, and I mean, the Techno Viper looks phenomenal. Um,
that looks amazing.
I I saw last week. I saw like some fan art on a well, there was a Facebook page called Checkpoint Alpha, I think, where somebody posted some fan art they did of I can't remember. There were three different characters. I can't the only one I can remember is the Frag Viper. And what the artist did was update the Frag Viper. So it was a little more streamlined, a little more armored, and the head,
Is
the
that
helmet looked more like a like a high tech chemical mask than it did like the bug that the original Frag Viper head looks like. And I had never thought, oh, I want to see a classified frag viper before. Then I saw that fan art, and I'm like, but if Hasbro did a classified frag viper more like that art, I'm like, I could get into that.
Was that
Um,
the AI thing that you sent me?
Maybe, yeah, maybe. No, I don't think so. I think it was just general. I think it was actual fan art.
Yeah.
Um,
Not a, I because somebody did recently do AI fan art of the uh Frag Viper that I saw. I
Maybe it. I shared it on my page, so maybe that was I. You know
I
what? Most of the AI art, if it's if it's if it's colored well enough, I can't really tell the difference. I because I've seen a lot of AI art that looks very has a lot of muted tones and a lot of dark colors, but like if I see like the Frag Viper is a daylight design, so I'm like maybe, but whatever it was, they redesigned everything on the Frag Viper just enough to make it awesome instead of doofy.
yeah, I'm not a fan of AI art at all. I I'm kind of definitely in the camp of that. Like, yeah, I don't like it.
Um,
Let's
I
see,
don't have enough
let's see what
art expertise to really. I don't. I can't speak on it with any sort of authority. I just know that if it catches my eye and it looks okay, then I'll give it a thumbs up. But I mean, some of it is terrible. But yeah, that Frag Viper, whatever, whether it was a whether it was a person or a computer or a person using a computer that redesigned it, I don't know, but they did a good job. So, and I don't remember what the other two characters were, which tells me I don't care that much. I do want to see a classified Flak Viper. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon.
oh
I'm
man,
not going to say never, but I would love to see what they would do with that.
I think that is definitely something that's they've. I would have to say at this point in time that they've looked at just based on some of the esoteric characters that they've put out and have announced. I have to say that that's one that they've looked at.
I mean, and at the very least, your other favorite, the Night Viper, they haven't announced it, but I would, I'd kill over from shock if we didn't find out that was in the pipeline somewhere. It has to be. There's no way that they're not going to do a Night Viper eventually.
That's one of my predictions for 2024 is that there will be a Night Viper next year,
Um, I don't.
or at least that it will be at least announced, maybe not released, but announced.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that. Yeah, even if they announce it for 2025, I'm pretty certain that uh Night Viper and Saw Viper are shoe-ins.
And you know what? They'll probably announce it for like January of 2025, and it'll come out April of next year.
I do think, yeah, it'll be sooner than later. I mean, I get where they're coming from because a lot of people, some of the people online are like, there's no rhyme or reason to what they're coming out with. But I'm like, but in my head, I'm thinking, but that makes sense because they want to keep people coming back for more. They're not going to knock out all the fan favorites in the first couple of years and
Garbage
leave
for it.
lesser known or straggler characters, but they're not going to.
No.
So that's why we had to wait so long on some of the and really so long. It's only been a few years since the line started. It's just they've they've hit a lot of the high points, but then you find out some of the weird. I mean, like I've seen some weird reactions, like Naga hide before Monkey Ranch. What's a big deal? I don't. Only 3 years separated them in the vintage line, and the fact is, I understand the classified team wanting to broaden their horizons, and stretch their muscles out, see, what can we do with Naugahyde in the classified scale that we couldn't do in the vintage? I totally understand where they're coming from.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
At this point in time, I can't see them not doing all of the Dreadnoks.
oh, they will. I don't. And then Heart Wrencher is one of the Devil's Due characters. She's already been rumored. Um, she came out in the same rumor list as Road Pig, Nemesis Immortal, or Nemesis Enforcer, and I can't remember who else was on that list. But and then at the last live stream that Hasbro did, they announced Nemesis Immortal was in the works. So I'm like, all right, so I think we can pretty much guarantee that Heart Wrencher is coming too.
I'd be surprised if they didn't do Zanya at some point in time too.
Oh, they will, especially because they on that same stream they also name only announced Xandar, which made me text Brian, and I'm like, oh, finally it's happening. So, um, um, yeah, they'll get around all the dread. I mean, obviously they're Dreadnought fans. Look, we got the Thunder Machine Soundwave, and I've already seen a rumor that that the Thunder Machine may be getting the classified treatment eventually. So I'm pretty sure. I did want when they mentioned Xandar, I'm like, huh, I wonder if he'll be individually boxed or if he'll be. You know what? Pause it for a second. Hang on. Um, yeah. Then now Xandar, I don't know if he'll be individually boxed or if he'll be a pack-in or an exclusive or what. I don't really care. I'm just happy that they finally announced him. So, um,
Of other announcements, this morning, Hiya Toys announced their next 4-inch GI Joe figure, and it is the Cobra Trooper. So I think that is, if I'm not mistaken, the first army builder that they've announced. Again, man, I love the figures. I think they're super detailed. They look just amazing, and to the point where the Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow made my top 10 acquisitions of the year list for our last show. But those are the only two figures that they put out so far to date. I It's cool to see the announcements, but at the same point in time, I'm tired of seeing announcements and not seeing figures. I
um,
I could do without any more announcements and start seeing the figures coming out. Prove that you can make these things. I've got a couple $100 tied up in pre-orders on these things already.
um,
I want the figures.
Brian's stance on the announcements with the pre-orders is very similar to his stance on the Kickstart. Just put this crap out. Eventually, we back this stuff, and I don't get hung up on it because the passage of time is what it is. The stuff will come out when it comes out, but I also get what he's saying, where
It's a smaller toy company. They have to prove that they can get it out.
yeah,
And it's not
yeah,
up
because it's
available.
because crowdfunding is one thing. That's tends to be small groups of people making stuff, and it does take a while. They're not established businesses, but yeah, the big companies. I mean, I don't know how big Hiya is in terms of in comparison to other toy companies, but they're a legit toy company that has been around for a long time. Yeah, put this stuff out. Because they announced Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow first, and then they came out first. Didn't they announce Cobra Commander right after that? And he is nowhere. We haven't done because I remember
I
we
think
saw the solicitations and the renders for Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow, but we didn't really see final pictures of them until they were in the package and people were getting them. And I would think Cobra Commander would be the same way, but it's been a long time since they announced that Cobra Commander before, so
think the
kind of
Cobra
weird.
got announced the same time the if I remember right, the three of them got announced the same point in time. Then the Cobra Commander kind of fell off the radar and then kind of came back. Because I remember all three of them being announced simultaneously.
Okay, but Cobra Commander is still nowhere.
Yeah, MIA. I saw somebody say that they thought it was supposed to have come out the end of this month. So we'll see how the end of this month, beginning of next month goes to see if people start getting that. I didn't
I was
pre
going to say they have a couple days left. Maybe they can pull it out.
Yeah, we'll see. Like I'm gonna say like 3 weeks just to see what happens in 3 weeks, but I don't know. Hiya Toys has put out product before, but it's all been product that has been available in the United States and is easily obtained. So, man, I don't know where they're at on these GI Joe guys. Why they keep announcing these things and have decent like production renders. None of this stuff is none of it is like art. It's like here's the final figure. It's I've never seen them put out like a render. It's all a completed figure.
Well, regardless of where these things are in the distribution pipeline, what do you think of the Cobra Trooper? Because just before we started the show, I sent Brian a screenshot because I hadn't seen it yet. But what do you think of the Cobra Trooper?
I think it looks awesome. I
I
I
I
like the
think it's got camo on it. I think that's awesome. We don't see Cobra Troopers with camo very often.
I can tell if it was camo or if that's like paint wash.
Oh,
So
maybe. Either way, it looks good.
yeah,
It's
I'm not the biggest fan of the Cobra Trooper, but it's kind of grown on me. And to have it in 4-inch scale, I'm hoping the Cobra Officer is next. And if they're going to do army builders, then the next logical one for them to do is either the Alley Viper or the Range Viper. And holy fuck, would I be on board with a new Alley Viper or a new Range Viper in 4-inch scale?
um I'm actually, now that they announced the Cobra Trooper, I do expect that the Alley Viper will be around the corner. I will the
The next one,
because
or what I think probably will be the next one will be the Cobra Bat.
well, that's true. I'm actually kind of surprised they haven't announced the bat. Because even Hasbro, once they put out the classified Cobra Trooper, and then they put out the Target version for the Cobra Island exclusive, then it was like right after that they announced the bat, and I would be shocked if Haya isn't doing that because people tend to like battle android troopers.
Yeah.
Um, but I um I looking at that Cobra Trooper, I'm not a big fan of the sculpt for the classified Cobra Trooper, either version, because there were minor differences between them, but it's one of those cases where uh, it's like the 4-inch Haya version. There's something about it that looks better to me than what Hasbro did with theirs,
Yeah.
and
Kind of weird how that. Oh, there is camouflage on it.
yeah, see that's cool. That makes me wish that Hasbro would repaint theirs with the urban camo or whatever. Because it's sort of like blue camo, right?
Yeah, I had to pull it up to look at it again, but yeah, it has a little bit of camo job on it. So
And the mask looks cooler than. Oh, wait a minute, he got a whole different. He's got chest armor, and this really isn't. I mean, it's sort of the classified design, but not exactly. Interesting. Yeah, this is better than the. Yeah, this is a better design than the design that they came up with for the classified version. Yeah, some of the details line up, some of them don't. Yeah, we need a classified version of this.
Well, I do like it a lot. I'm not a big fan of the weapons because they kind of went with the Nerf guns, but man, that's such a minor thing and so easy to fix that.
I was gonna say, um, I was gonna say there's a website called Marauder. They can help. Um, the so aside of the availability, though, I'm gonna guess that that Cobra Trooper is one that you might actually want.
I'm gonna pre-order it when it goes up. Uh,
Um,
Pre-orders usually go up about 2 to 3 days after they make an announcement. So
and
I
then they usually ship 2 to 3 years after they put the pre-order.
no, we who knows? I mean, they've only shipped 2 figures so far. So, and again, I'm still on the fence on the Destro. I did pre-order the Baroness. The Destro does look really cool. I'm. It's just like, do I want to throw another $25 into the pot and hope this shit comes out at some point in time?
Yes.
Yeah, because I'll pre-order the Cobra Trooper when it comes up.
Um, yeah, yeah, it is interesting to see them finally do an army builder. And I'm like, well, with the limited availability of the named characters, it will be curious to see what kind of quantity people can get a hold of the Cobra Trooper in. Um,
This one I'm going to predict is going to sell out pretty quick from the online retailers because there will be people that will want army build this.
yeah, definitely. Um,
That's the main reason I'm going to jump on this is in the event that they are going to produce these, and that if I don't pre-order one when it goes up, that no, I'm not going to get one at all if they do come out. So
yeah, I was gonna say I think that's a pretty safe yeah, pretty safe bet that this one's gonna be real hard to get a hold of. It will make me glad that I am not particularly concerned with these because otherwise, if I wasn't, I'd be annoyed. Um, but um,
if
well,
you don't get on the if you don't get on the pre-orders, you're not going to get them because the Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow, you can't get those anymore. You can get them probably for super inflated prices on eBay, but you're not going to get them anywhere else.
um, no. Um, well, one of the other things we used to do on General Geekery way back when before we started doing video was we'd have a segment where we talk about a particularly bad bootleg toy that we saw either online or actually saw in a store. We do the bootleg showcase. Well, I miss doing that because, frankly, bootleg figures are always fun to look at and often to laugh at. So I said, well, now that we're doing a video podcast, we can actually show the stuff off. Well, Brian, I think we should bring that segment back. Well, he obliged. He had a bootleg he picked up overseas
I
that he
actually
could showcase.
a buddy of mine picked this up. Actually, one of our former guests, uh, uh, John Shaw, who we had on. I made a custom of him, and he unboxed it on the show.
Oh yeah. So he found this thing for you and he got it for you.
He got it in Ukraine when he was there. Um, so he picked this up. So it is a watch and a figure, and it looks like there was supposed to be something else up there, but it's not. It's not up there. But it says Iron Man 3 on the band, even though the title says End Game, and it says it's a projection watch, and I don't know actually what it does, and I'm not going to open it because I like it. But it says that it can cast a 20 can cast 24 shadow. Uh, projection switch and focus. Apparently there was a Spider-Man one and a horrible Captain America one. Um, but yeah, this is
Is it
definitely
is it an articulated figure next to it, or is it just like a chunk of plastic that's painted like Iron Man?
looks like it has 2 points of articulation at the shoulders.
Yeah, because I have two bootleg like low grade military figures that you picked up from me while you were in the Ukraine, and it's same thing. They're solid chunks of plastic, but the shoulders do move up and down. Um, I'm afraid to move them though, in case they, snap or evaporate or something. But so
I think one of the awesome things about this is the fact that Batman is on the card art for Avengers Endgame.
so I don't remember that. Must have been a deleted scene that Batman showed up in because
He was probably in the end fight where everybody's coming through the portals to
yeah. So you mean when Cap finally says Avengers assemble and everybody lines up? I think Batman was in there because he certainly didn't have a showcase in that movie.
ones where
I,
if you blinked you missed him. So yeah, Batman apparently was in Avengers Endgame somewhere because he is on the card art for Avengers Endgame in this high quality, fancy projection watch and action figure 2-pack.
I don't. That is just truly spectacular.
And actually, there's a checklist on the bottom, and it has six things to check. Unfortunately, it doesn't have it doesn't list them, and it does say specifications, colors, and content may vary from illustrations. So
It'd be weird if they didn't. So it doesn't list the number of characters you can get, the actual characters you can get.
that's six variations, and it doesn't. I don't see. Yeah, I don't see a number on the like packaging to know which one this is to say that's. Yeah, it doesn't say anywhere which one this is, unfortunately. So
Geez, too bad you can't complete your set with the horrible Captain America version.
Captain America, I mean, it's horrible. I mean, it really does.
That I don't, man, that doesn't even look human, let alone like Captain America.
Yeah, because I was thinking the same thing. It doesn't even look human.
Um,
But no, this is yeah. I am a huge fan of Iron Man bootlegs in general, or specifically, I should say. I have a couple of Iron Man bootlegs in my collection. Um, and yeah, my buddy picked this up for me in Ukraine after I had demoted and transferred to Africa. So thank you, John, for picking that up. And yeah, so always happy to revive the bootleg segment of our show because yeah,
yeah, there's no shortage of them because I'll see things that get posted in the toy groups. Remember, there was a set. It was like Heroes of the Galaxy or something, and it was like Batman, Spider Man, Shrek, and a Power Ranger or something. And I'm like, wow, who came up with that lineup? Um, and they were clearly figures that had been bootlegged, like remolded off of legitimate figures because, but they were warped in the process. So Shrek is about half the size that he should be, and but he doesn't. It almost looked like he was like a bendable figure that they just threw in the package. But I'm like, Power Ranger and Shrek, boy, that's a crossover nobody ever wanted. Um,
didn't ask for it, didn't expect it, but there it is. It also kind of reminds me of the bootleg DVDs. We used to talk about those when I was in Afghanistan. Go to the Mechaplex and get the latest bootleg DVDs because that's how we watched movies.
the,
Uh,
the Mechaplex. Um,
a bootleg of the Phantom Menace, and on the cover there's Qui-Gon Jinn, Obi-Wan Kenobi, the young Anakin Skywalker, and Arnold Schwarzenegger from Predator. I think
Uh,
that as much as I like the Phantom Menace, I think that would have made it even more interesting to have Dutch in the Phantom Menace.
I think I agree with that. Um,
I'd like to see
I,
that of, of the Phantom Menace.
I, I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, he could have been in there. Maybe he was like dressed as one of the Naboo security guards or something. Perhaps. Um, maybe there's deleted scenes where Arnold Schwarzenegger comes in and saves the day. Um, that's. Did you happen to buy that DVD or?
I've only seen it online. I didn't see it in person because if I had seen it in person,
Oh,
oh,
you definitely would have it.
I, it would be a gem in my collection.
How many languages do you think the movie plays in on that bootleg DVD? Because what
It
was you said it was Iron Man that switched to German in the middle of the movie, and
was The Watchmen.
oh, it was Watchmen. Okay,
I did the like climax where they're on the moon or Mars or wherever it was, and they like get into the heated conversation, switches to German. I'm like, the fuck. So yeah, I didn't get I got
was it subtitled at least?
Ooh, subtitles. Who needs subtitles? We don't need no stinking subtitles.
Um, yeah, the Star Wars Holiday Special 2 weeks ago. I sat down and I watched the Star Wars Holiday Special with Brian and his wife. Like they were watching it at their house. We're watching it on YouTube, and the first 8 minutes of the movie is all Wookiees talking to each other in Shriwook with no subtitles. I mean, with context, you can see basically what they're saying, but it's I can't imagine watching a movie that switches to another language track and there's no option to get a translation.
A very good approximation of what it was to have that Watchmen copy is like all of a sudden everybody starts talking in different language. You got no idea what's going on. And you can't switch it because I mean,
Awesome.
there literally is just a ripped DVD. So there's none of the like extra like switching chapters and extras and subtitles. No, it's just literally a ripped DVD.
Um, so I just I wonder how they accomplished switching the language track in the middle in just like and ripped it. Like that's funny. Um, I what did the cover look like?
I don't remember
Oh, okay.
what they did. I mean, how they would get this is they would take a video, they'd sneak a video camera into the theater and record it while it was being projected on. So that's where all those movies come from, because
Oh, that makes
the
sense.
tempo is slightly off. It sounds like it's the audio's in the background because it is, and then every once in a while somebody will walk in front of the screen and sit down. So yeah, it's clearly that's clearly how they how they got these movies is somebody snuck in a video camera into the theater and recorded it. But when that's the only way that you can see it, that's for for like a year. You put up with it because that's you don't want to miss it. I mean, that's how I saw Iron Man for the first time because I was in Afghanistan then too. So I got the bootleg DVD and watched it. It wasn't until it wasn't until Avengers, the first Avengers movie came out that I saw Iron Man on the big screen because they did the marathon at one of the local theaters here. So it was all the first MCU movies plus followed by the release of
Avengers, yeah. Did yeah, because I remember because I saw Iron Man in the theater, and at Tony Stark, he's at Bagram Air Force Base, and afterwards I found and Brian's like, oh, that's where I was staying or I've been there, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. To actually see it in context, you've actually been there. Um,
did a pretty good job wherever they shot that location at. It's not bad. It's pretty close to what it looks like to be at Bagram.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I've never left the shores of North America. I've gotten as far north as Toronto, Canada, which is an hour and a half that way for me. And when I was an infant, I got as far south as uh, Ciudad, Mexico, with my parents. So I was born in El Paso, so that was like a jump across the border for weekend shopping. But so yeah, I've never left North America, so I have no context for overseas locations like that.
No, it's kind of cool to see stuff like that. Like GI Joe when they're in Paris, the first GI Joe movie when they're in Paris. It's like, yeah, I've been there. I was there. V for Vendetta where they're at like Trafalgar Square in London. It's like, oh, cool, I've been there. They mention a spot in Ukraine in the uh, one of the zombie books. Jesus, what was the one that Brad Pitt was in? World
World War Z.
The movie did not follow the book, but the book was actually really good. I'm not a big zombie fan, but the book was really good. And they mention a specific spot in Ukraine. I'm like, hey, I was there. So it's kind of cool to see that stuff and be like, hey, I was there.
Yeah, it is cool when you can put that into context in the real world. Because
Emily and I
I
we're watching the all of the Mission Impossible movies right now. So we just finished Ghost Protocol, where they're in Dubai, and he's climbing the Burj, which is the tallest building in the world. And I'm like, I've been there, I've seen it, I've drove right by it. So it's cool to see stuff like that.
oh, you have been there. That's right.
I'm for
Uh,
19. I'm not a big fan of Dubai.
so, but you never thought about climbing up the side of that building yourself, then? No. Okay. Um, I, I think you'd have to be pretty sick to even want to do that. Hello, Tom Cruise. You crazy, crazy man.
Because he does all of his own stunts, so he fucking actually did that crazy shit. So
Even in that movie, like when the camera comes up and it shows him right below, and it's a straight shot down underneath him to see. I'm like, no, I no, no way. Um, um. So you just finished. What's after Ghost Protocol? Is that
I don't.
uh? Well, no, hang on, Ghost Protocol. Is that the one with Philip Seymour Hoffman as the?
That's the third one. The
Okay.
Hoax Protocol is the one that Jeremy Renner's in because they didn't think Tom Cruise was going to come back for the next one, so they put Jeremy Renner in it too because they had planned it on handing off the franchise to Jeremy Renner.
Oh, that's right. Oh yeah. Yeah. Wait, is that the one that they go to Moscow and they do the trick with the cameras? And that was cool.
I I I am a huge fan of the of the Mission Impossible movies. I absolutely love that franchise. I
Uh,
still the newest one. I wanted to see it in the theater, but just never got around to it. So
um, I saw it in the theater, and I mean, they say right on the marquee, it's
a two-parter.
mission. It's part one, so I'm like, there's no mystery. Of course, there's gonna, but I remember thinking, well, now we've got a long wait for the next one because it was right after that. I think that the writer strike started, and then the actor strike started. I'm like, oh man, we're gonna have to wait a while for the next one. But um, yeah, those are. I mean, well, and the IMF, it exists in my my head canon, my Joe verse. So, um, yeah, I love that franchise. So, yeah, I don't. Maybe after part two, maybe Tom Cruise will be done, but I hope somebody else keeps doing those. Um,
And I'm just waiting for the so Hiya Toys is also doing the 2009 Star Trek figures.
oh yeah,
So I've already pre-ordered the Captain Kirk figure because I'm going to rip the Chris Chris Pike head off of it, and Craniac Studios has a real nice William Shatner head. And I think I've pre-ordered the Spock as well because they have a Leonard Nimoy head as well. So I'm going to do customs of those. But I'm also there's Alice in the background laying down on the sheepskins.
Hi, Alice. Hi, puppy.
Uh, I'm waiting for the Scotty figure so I can have the oh man, my brain just um Simon Pegg head, so I can do Simon one his character from Mission Impossible.
Oh, Benji.
Yes, because I've
Um,
done Tom Cruise's character already, and I want to do Vin Rhames' character as well. But yeah, I'm gonna get that Simon Pegg figure just for the head and do a Benji figure for my Mission Impossible series.
has nobody done a head sculpt for Ving Rhames? Because that's silly.
I haven't actually looked, to be honest, now that I think about it.
Because I have to imagine that you could find his head for Mission Impossible and for Pulp Fiction with Marcellus Wallace. I have to imagine somebody made those.
So I don't know. That's a good question. I'm gonna have to look that up because that
Um,
if I do, that's gonna go on the list for 2025 or 24. Sorry,
I was gonna say, how far out are you planning your customs?
quite a bit. Actually, it's funny you should ask because next year, probably not anytime soon. I need to finish the projects that I'm working on, but I am going to start a Terminator box set.
Ooh. Um, that's one of those franchises you can get me with. Like, I've seen all the movies. I'll continue seeing all the movies. I don't care how many times they reboot it, reset it, push the timeline back, recast it. I don't care. I'll watch them all. Even Dark Fate, which was not a huge fan of. I like Genesis more than everybody else did.
Oh,
So
I'm doing Christian. I totally plan on doing Christian Bale's character from that movie. So
wait, that was Salvation. I'm talking about Genesis, where they put Amelia Clark in as Sarah
oh,
Connor and had the old Terminator. Yeah, I like that movie way more than everybody else did. So um,
I'm hoping that at some point in time I'll be able to do a decent replica of the gal that's the lead singer for Garbage because she was the
Shirley Manson.
yes because she was in the Sarah Connor Chronicles TV show.
Yeah, I only ever saw a couple episodes of that.
Never seen it, but I kind of want to go back and watch it now um, because yeah, I would like to do uh, her character in that set. I mean, this is a set that I it's going to be like my Punisher set. I don't have any plans to like how many figures are going to be in the set. It's one of those things that when I find a head, I'm like, oh, there's a cool head. I'm going to get the head, make a custom, and throw it in a tub. And when I decide the set's done, then I'll start working on the box. Because like the Punisher set, I don't have an end date. I don't have a number of characters. I don't have no plans to finish it. It's just going to be ongoing. Kind of like um my Flaming Moth set, which I didn't touch at all this year.
um,
I'm stuck on a couple of figures and I just can't get past that. Past
you get there eventually. The I still think your Punisher box set should have a teal suited version from the Spider-Man cartoon.
probably not.
Yes, yes, it should. Um, yes, it should. No, okay.
I do want to
Um,
do cell shaded a cell shaded figure, and I've never tried that painting technique before. And the one I'm going to do is going to be from Punisher Armory #2, the cover art by Jim Lee.
um, the are you doing any of the Punisher villains in that set, or is it just Punishers?
Who decided that? That's because I've seen a decent jigsaw head, so I might be doing a jigsaw for the set.
Well, because I was going to say, if you're doing villains or other like ancillary characters, might not be a bad idea to do a Charlie Cox Daredevil for the set to tie him in with the Netflix because
Actually have parts for one. Somebody I think got the Netflix the Marvel Legends figure cast and molded the torso and the waist, but I don't have like these, and it's just a solid chunk of plastic. So I have the head, the torso, and the waist for one, but I don't have like accurate legs or arms for it, and it's no way to articulate it or put it together. I bought the kit, and then I know it's here somewhere, but I I don't know. I would have to
well,
back the figure or something. I don't know.
I think the arms and legs, you know what that calls for, right? Your favorite activity, sculpting.
Nope, absolutely not.
Every time Brian sculpts something, he'll text me and be like, "Have I mentioned lately that I hate sculpting?" Yes. Um,
Yep.
I, uh, I, um, yeah, I think John Barenthal as the Punisher, like when he's fighting Daredevil or in that like that second season, I'm like, this is awesome. I like those two guys in those roles. And I think a Charlie Cox custom from Go Figure Customs, I think that's pretty awesome.
I'm not opposed, but I gotta find the right parts because I ain't sculpting it.
Maybe not Iron Fist though. Look, I can defend a lot of stuff. I can apologize for a lot of stuff, but that kid as Iron Fist was just not good.
Well,
Um,
they were never on screen together,
um,
so
yeah,
that would.
wait, weren't they in the? Oh no, they weren't. I was gonna say, yeah, Punisher. Yeah, he didn't show up in the Defenders, did he? No. Okay. Yeah, it's been a while since I watched that. Um, it'll be a while longer until I watch it again. Um, once was enough. Um,
Yeah, unfortunately.
I am looking forward to the Echo series on Disney Plus next
Saw the
month.
previews for that yesterday for the first time, so it looks interesting.
Um, I liked Echo as established in the Hawkeye TV series, and I like the relationship they set up with her and Kingpin. So I'm looking forward to the TV series, and it's an interesting return to form with the dark, gritty violence with the street level heroes. I didn't know that they were going to go that way, but I think it's kind of cool that they did. And there's some actors that you say they're really good in a part, and then there's some actors you can say were born to play a role. Vincent D'Onofrio as Wilson Fisk, that man was born to play that role.
It's
There will never
no.
be another Wilson Fisk in live action that can do as well as he did. I like Michael Clark Duncan in the role for that ridiculous Affleck Daredevil movie, but Vincent D'Onofrio, he just like he rules the screen when he's on, and he yeah, I can't wait to see more of that. Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool, yeah, he's the other one. He was born to play that role. Um, um, but anyways, yeah, I wanted to put out another episode since we were off. Um, wanted to geek out a little bit. Um,
Do you have any customs planned for next year?
no, I've just got the stuff I'm still picking away at. I'm gonna have to. Um, I've gotta. I gotta get some organization going. I'm chronically incapable of it, but I'm at a point where I've got so many stuff that I'm working on and picking away at, but I just I can't focus it, and I need to figure out how to. Brian's seen some of the works in progress, but some of them are done. But like I'm working on a couple of snow characters. It hasn't snowed here yet, other than a dusting of an inch and a half that we got a few weeks ago.
Wow.
It hasn't snowed yet.
Good Lord.
Side, it's just green. It
Huh.
rained yesterday, so there was mud, but yeah, like the like snow job, the snow serpent, and some of the Arctic customs I'm working at. I was like, well, I'll post them when there's snow that I can.
Take some pictures with.
Nothing yet. It was 50 degrees Christmas Day here. It was 50 degrees with a slight chill in the air. But that was it. So yeah, the weather is cooperating in a way that I find slightly unnerving because it worries me that when the weather turns in sometime in January, it's going to be like ugly. Um, so, but I mean, that is the plan. That once that I'll finish the my winter operations. Joe said, but no other solid plans. Few ideas I've got, but some of it'll depend on what else does Hasbro put out that I could use as a custom base. So,
Right. Yeah, I'm just waiting on some orders to finish my uh the custom using the wolf spider as the base.
oh, that's right. You ordered the new weapons for it, right? Yeah.
A new vest. So once those come in, I'll finish that figure, and uh I'm almost done with my Sons of Anarchy sets. And when that gets done, I'm not doing another one of those customs.
I was gonna say you don't want to do a third set at some point. Um, I I'm I'm not one that I don't usually go back to my customs and do another one later. Not very often because I'm usually either happy with it or I'm not, but I'm not unhappy enough to redo it. But Brian's crazy. He's done duplicate customs of the same characters, and I'm just like, wow. I wish
That's the only
that I
time
had that kind of tenacity. I don't.
it's the
Um,
only time I've ever done it is
um,
simply because I wanted to do a box set, and the window back cards look so awesome that I had to I had to do one for each.
oh, of course, yeah. Um,
I still haven't sat down to do the card. It's printed. I hate assembling these things because I've got to measure and cut. It's as fun as sculpting and painting eyes for me. But maybe this weekend I'll sit down and card Piney, and then the carded set will be finished. I'm waiting on the box because I got the box for Sons of Anarchy in the mail, and they didn't print the bottom on it, so I had to fight with them to reprint it. Um, and then somebody noticed that I had a typo on the box, so they're reprinting it, but they're probably reprinting it with the typo on it. So I had to redo some of
how
the
gratuitous is the typo?
very.
Oh, okay. So it's like obvious. It's not like in a character name. The letters were transposed. No.
I don't.
Does it say Snows of Anarchy or something?
Uh, Mayhem is spelled wrong on the like front panel.
Ah, ooh.
It's proof.
Um,
The
it
letters.
reminds me of that Allstate or whatever that insurance, the Mayhem guy in the insurance commercials. Yeah, that's Mayhem. To misspell that word, that's funny.
Yep.
That's terrible.
Yep.
Um,
Because I I had done all of the art for a specific size box, and then when I had gotten the Ghostbusters box printed out and saw that I was going to do a similar size for more figures, it's like the Ghostbusters box wasn't big enough for what I wanted. So I knew the Sons of Anarchy figures box wasn't going to be big enough, so I had to go back in and redo some of the art, and I didn't I had to do some of it from scratch instead of just like resizing stuff, and I didn't catch the typo.
Um,
The box looks
yeah,
box. I got the box. I've already thrown it away because it has a typo on it, but it's gonna look nice.
just as long as just as long as they spell it right.
Well, and just as long as they print the goddamn art on the bottom this time, because they're like, here's the proof that you sent. It doesn't have the bottom. I'm like, here's a screenshot of the product that I ordered on your website, and it shows the art. So at least they would have worked with me. If it didn't have the typo, it wouldn't be such a problem. But fuck, god damn it, I didn't see that typo in there. So I'm sure there
You
would have
know,
the box
I'm
would.
actually a little surprised that I didn't catch it because sometimes you'll send me this stuff just so I see what it looks like. And if there is a snap, sometimes I'll pick up. I missed it too. So I'm not like a copyright editor, but I just there's certain things that stand out to me, and sometimes like transposed letters or misspelled words sometimes will, and I missed it too. So
And that's the thing is people ask me how do I not see that, and it's like in
easily when you're too close to it or when you're right on and you're working on it yourself.
well I
That's
learned
why
in high
you
school
need it. You need a second voice sometimes.
well in high school I learned they I took a class and learned a different way to read. So I read by context. So I know what that word is supposed to be. So my brain doesn't even see the typo. It knows what it's supposed to be. So it skips that stuff. I don't see that stuff because through a lot of reading and training, I don't catch that stuff because my brain knows what it's supposed to be and it fixes it before I see it, before I realize it. So yeah, I took a speed reading class. They teach you how to like skip words that like a and the stuff that doesn't need to be there that you don't have to read. It teaches your brain to skip that stuff. It teaches you to read by context, and I don't see that stuff. So
Um,
I have to have I have Emily or I have my mom proofread stuff because there's a typo on the seal box somewhere too.
the new one. Oh, huh.
Yeah. It's not prevalent. It's not real noticeable, but I caught it when I like looked at it. But
Not
yeah.
not gratuitous enough to not use it though.
No, uh-uh.
That's good. All right. Well, folks, thanks for listening. We'll say Happy New Year, and
Absolutely. Hopefully everybody had a Merry Christmas. We are doing our Christmas tomorrow, so I I still haven't I still haven't had Christmas yet, so I'm hoping. I know there's some GI Joe stuff underneath the tree because I picked out one of the things and then I saw one of them in the closet. So I know I'm getting some new GI Joe stuff for Christmas. But
nice. Um, well, give us an update. So, but all right, man. I'll talk to you later. Thanks.
as
All right.
always, please do that fun social media stuff. Like, share, subscribe, comment below, and stay tuned because General Geekery will be back next year, and my year-end custom show will be coming up here pretty soon.
Sweet.